friends, welcome to the Football Group Pod. My name is Ven, and for this episode, we're joined by my good friend and photographer Pampuri, who has now amassed 8,000 followers. and I will not stop talking about it until she reaches 10K. And also with us tonight is former national team player and football commentator Natasha Alquiros Deyto. Uh, Welcome, Tash. Say hi to your fans and maybe Dito's fans too.
Hi guys. Pero actually kayong mas madaming followers eh. Kayong pareho.
Wow!
Hindi,
Sino
si
lang
Yara.
yun?
Si Yara yung mas
FYI.
madami.
Welcome. Thank you, Tash and Pam, for joining me tonight. So let's start with some. Well, to me, it's good news. Our women's futsal team just ano bang papa natin sasabihin to? Pushed world number 9 Iran. And we only conceded in the final, I think 3 minutes. 3 minutes, ba?
Yeah.
Of course, it's a narrow loss in the AFC Women's Futsal Asian Cup. I missed half of the game because I was working, but all I know is Sammy Hughes was a wall. If you would care to share your thoughts, sinong may gusto
The
muna?
baller. Super baller, man. Sammy played fantastic. Literally, her reaction was so good. And she really kept us in the game. Like, she made sure that it was a close match. And she's so young. So, like, just imagine the growth this player has. And I'm not being biased just because she was my teammate for a little bit last year with Stallion, but she was legit, like really good. Like I think she was the player of the match. Like if from the Filipinas, if you're gonna choose one play from the Filipina5 pala, from the Filipina5,
Five.
if you're gonna choose one player, I'd say
Yeah.
that Sammy was the man of the match.
Did you guys expect this scoreline? Considering Iran is a two-time Asian Cup champion.
Technically, sila yung defending champions, no?
I'm not sure if they're the defending now, but I know they're like two-time.
Two-time. That's
Two-time
what I
cup
know.
champions, yeah.
Two-time.
But yeah, so let's say diba, based on rankings alone, this is a big win for, although we did not win the game, I'd still say that it's a big win. It's like one step closer in the right direction.
Yeah.
Because especially in the start of the game, actually, when the game started, we had two of our best chances in the first few minutes. So Iran didn't settle yet. And then we were on our game right away. Like defensively solid, but then also we were able to make two big chances. So I think that's a good sign, something to build on. Like how do you make sure that hindi lang sa start ng game and you're able to build on small moments like that.
Yeah. Right. Ikaw,
Also,
Pam, what do you
Ano,
think?
yeah, agree with yung two chances ang nakita ko doon was
Yan ba yung nag-message ka na sayang?
Ay, oo. Kasi the tactics I think there was, the goalkeeper was like, yung mas momentum niyang mag-move forward. Like attacking din. Medyo siya eh. Kasi that mistake alone was, na-open yung goal eh. Ang ganda it was, sino ba siya, Tash? Was it Inday who passed that? Because the goalkeeper of Iran was with, sorry, I forgot if it was Inday. She passed that one to Bella. It was an open goal. Bandoha to Bella. It was an open goal, man. So, before that, may instance na rin kasi that goalkeeper went up then. So, parang medyo, siya. After that incident, hindi na masyado umakyat yung goalkeeper. So, nag-iba. Nag-change din yung way ng, that was like first 3 minutes, first 4 minutes ng So, that offensive plays by us. So, nag-iba rin sila. Ang bilis din. So, nakita nila na, si Philippines hindi siya magdi-defensive mode lang or what because we're number 9. No. Nakita nila that we had two great chances nung start. Nakita nila na And then, one thing also is, I think I like the way nag-switch ng subs. The timing of it. Halos parang pansin ko walang napagod din at the same time. We just had one yellow, if I'm not mistaken, kanina. Kay
Maye.
Oh, I saw that photo.
So, but then other than that, yung switching ng players, and I think mostly were played, may hindi ba nakalaro? Parang lahat halos nakalaro.
Not sure
So,
Basura got to play.
parang
I don't remember.
siya lang and Bebe played,
Bebe also had a good chance.
had a good job. Yeah. So, maganda yung switching ng players. So, yun yung sa akin. I mean, kudos to that. Alam mo na kung sino ipapasok mo and all. I guess, syempre, hinahanap mo pa rin yung best five mo. But at least, yun, nakita mo talaga na na-rotate siya kanina. And everyone was like, going up and going down just to, ano. And yun, si Sammy given eh. Kasi that's my first, after the sayang moment message, the next one was Sammy. Lex, mga ilang messages sa group chats. Sammy, Sammy, Sammy. Well, besides the post, someone corrected me, but it was Sammy. It was Sammy's game. Sobrang it was Sammy's game. The mistake, I mean, the goal kanina, if Sammy didn't move forward also, ganun din eh. Parang nag-take chance siya na, wala eh, kailangan niya mag-move forward.
Oh, lumabas siya.
Lumabas siya. She got it eh. Technically, she got it naman eh. But then, of course, the rebound thing, dun tayo. Pero still, kung hindi naman siya nag-move forward to defend it, di ba? Pwede rin naka-golden
Yes.
ng ano. So, yeah. It was,
That came from a save eh. It was
Yeah.
a save, and then the second ball lang, unlucky.
the
like, it
second
went
ball,
to-
the rebound. Yeah.
And then since there were two defenders there, Sammy couldn't also jump or like make a save
Yes.
because she was sandwiched already with the two
Sandwich na, yeah.
defenders.
Agree. But then it
But
was,
no,
if we play like that pa on who's our next? Vietnam?
Vietnam. So, yan nga. So, considering how they perform this morning, their next game is Vietnam. And the last time we played Vietnam in the AFF, we lost to them 6-1. Was it 6-1, Pam? Pinakamalaki ata natin 6-1. And Vietnam is currently 11th in the world. So do you think we'll do better this time or maybe even beat them considering how we performed this morning?
I think we
yeah,
can.
I'd say that we have a good chance, that we have an equal chance of winning just as much as Vietnam, especially if we take into consideration how we played against Iran. And
Right.
so I was gonna say, I was just gonna say, like with Sammy also, like so the shot stopping, but also her distribution was really good. Like she had one distribution to Del Campo that if
Right.
we like a softer touch to it, that could have been a chance. Technically, it was a chance because the keeper fumbled also. Eh. So parang ang ganda ng laro niya, but also to add to that, si Bella Flanagan. It's her, how to explain it, her confidence in taking on the players 1v1. Because when you're playing in a small pitch futsal, it's 5 versus 5. Take out the keeper, it's 4 versus 4. So
Yeah.
when you fake out your defender or you're able to beat 1 to 2 players, you put your team talaga in such an advantage, and that's exactly what she did time and time again. So she's gonna be a key player, most probably actually gonna be a marked player for the next 2
Okay.
teams. But she is also really the key player in our team, and no wonder, like there's no other reason why she'd be wearing that captain's armband. She's definitely leading the team.
What do you guys think of the not naman newcomers, but they weren't in Uzbekistan, and knowing the issue prior, like Isabella Bandoja and Lani Ortilio, how did they fare or gel with the rest of the team?
Or I can only talk about for Bandoja was more of that. You saw that she was part of that attack. I think it's gonna take her time again to gel, or like maybe get her confidence
Yeah.
get her confidence back. But even for the few times that she was on, her one involvement turned into one of her best chances.
Agree.
we can't deny also her capability and that it's good to have her back on the pitch with the rebranded Filipina5.
I like how you said it, rebranded.
But
Okay.
also to whoever is doing their
There's so
artwork.
yeah, that's what I
I
want to
must
ask. Do we know who this person
yes,
is, or did they hire an agency or something? Because it's
whoever
totally
it
different.
is, like please let us know like in the comments or message Van or Laban Filipinas or Futbol Brew because I think that it's so on brand,
Yes.
especially when they had their when they showed the team. So when they introduced the
Names.
team, so
Yeah.
it felt like a magazine cover.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
when they even pinned the games, so like it's like a funner side because it's futsal, it's fast paced, and then even the per player photo, the one with
Yeah.
the
I
artwork
love
on,
that.
that's my favorite, absolute favorite. So
Ganda.
whoever's doing it, I continue what you're doing. Like it's so refreshing.
It is. Yun. O baka ano, hindi pa natin kilala. Tanong natin yung mga
Kilala niyo.
sources natin.
Kilala niyo.
Tanong natin yung
Sasabihin
mga
natin
sources natin mamaya. Sino ba
sasabihin natin
to?
sa sources.
Oo. Ang sources natin itago natin sa pangalan na yun. Okay, so thank you for that. Good luck to the girls. So they will be playing Vietnam next on kailan ba
Or
to?
Friday or Saturday.
Wait. Let me check. 9th Friday, also at 11 a.m. And then Hong Kong on Sunday, May 11th,
One day
also at
rest. So I
11
think
a.m.
yan yung magmamatter. The recovery.
Yeah. Okay, great. So now let's talk about the Women's League. Teka lang kasi, naalala ko lang baka may sinabi to si Pam na nakaraan. Anyway, so,
Sasabihin ko ba ulit?
sabihin mo na lang ulit. So, you know, how do I say this? Like, the Women's League actually looks great. You know, the branding is neat. And for if you're a casual fan or an observer, that's already a win, diba? But you know, to be fair, that's something worth celebrating in a country where women's football has often been, you know, treated as an afterthought, even after our World Cup participation. So for those of us who follow football more closely, or that's within the ecosystem of women's football, like for me, parang there's a nagging sense that something's still not quite clicking. Whether it's the inconsistency of the match days, the lack of uh unclear structure or uneven team support. I don't know. But I just can't help but feel that there's a layer missing beneath the this beautiful surface, if you will. So Tasha, you've been calling some of the games, and maybe you can share your insights, you know, both positives and the negatives. Or whatever
Okay,
you
so
can share.
I think I'll share first. Let's say compared to the cup last season, I think that
Yes,
if
yes.
you
Sige.
compare from the cup to the first leg of the women's league, it's more of that we actually had a schedule. There was a few games that were rescheduled, but it was also because of um, calls up for the national team or call up for the futsal national team. But besides that, there was actually a schedule that was more often than not followed through. So that's more than I could say for the cup than the cup last season. So parang you see that there's certain improvements. And then the other parts, it's more of that, it's on you na lang na parang, is it a good thing or a bad thing? So in terms of the media, they're 100% like pushing it. Not even 100, they're like at 150%, like really like with the marketing and media, they're really trying a lot to
Yeah.
push as much content as they can possible. So I'd say that in terms of like certain stuff like that, that's already like a level up. Or
Yes.
in terms of um in terms of I'd say even the grounds of where the games are being held. I mean, if you're
Correct.
gonna compare, dude, last year in McKinley and the old Rizal, one fall and you already have Tocino. Like talagang, wow. Ito, you can see the players sliding left and right. Kinis pa rin ng skin nila. Like, oh, tumuwa carpet. So in terms of like, you take a look at the venue, schedule wise, the consistency of the media and the marketing team, that's good. What you're talking about, the inconsistency, and that's parts of the game now.
Yeah.
Or the decisions of like the playing age. It's lowered now than it was last time. So it's not, I think that this part is more of, it's not a right or wrong, but it's more of that, is 13 years old okay to start the league? Is 13 okay? But last year it was 16, right? If I'm not mistaken.
So, alam ko 16.
16. So parang there were some players who were already good, but they couldn't play. But now it's more of that, it's much younger. So yun, parang it's more of like preference na lang yan eh. And that's why I think like this season is like an experimental year or an experimental season. It's revamped, so it's opening your eyes to new things, but it's not also like, oh, just because it's newer, it's also better. But it's making you
Yeah.
just take a look at everything because there are young players who are performing also. So you'd take a look, but I'm not sure who's the one who's 13. Was it the Nori? Is it Nori?
Yeah, Nori, yeah.
Yeah. So parang it's more of like you're taking a look at both ends of it. Or yun nga, I'd say like during the game, like the rules per game, diba? Na parang it's not as polido as you'd want it to be.
Yeah.
But in a sense na parang at least they're trying. So they're not naman closed off to you na we know better. No, they're trying. So if you give
Yeah.
feedback, they're open to feedback, which I
Yeah.
think is really good because you can't nail it right away. No offense to the men's league. Like how many years has this been and we still can't figure it out. So I think that, they're not the women's league, they're still figuring it out. But there's good pluses. If I'm comparing it to the cup last year, they're already in a much better point of view, or like a much better like point of start than it was last cup. Ikaw, Pam.
But what if it's not
Ayan
compared with the
na. Oo, sige. What if
because we're talking about the league and the previous leagues. So for me, yun yung difference. Yes, I understand the cup was really different. Everyone, from players to teams to coaches to even fans to other staff, affected talaga lahat. That's why I'm not comparing it to the cup, even if it was the recent one. Because from the very start, it was really like, alam mo lang, there's something wrong.
Too
Right?
Joke lang.
So sa akin, I'm comparing it to the previous leagues that we have because what we call the current one is PFF Womens League. So sa akin, why was the leagues before was we were able to like everyone learned from those leagues. And what we need is aminado naman tayo doon na somewhat like improvements to it each, 'di ba? I remember we were in New Zealand, we were even running the league. We were helping working and it worked. So doon ako nagko-compare. So that's why I get the point of if I compare it only with the cup. Yes, it's really like
Night
mas
and day.
mataas na siya. May ano na
Yeah.
talaga. But we're talking about the league. Kasi the league ever since when it started, UAAP schools, clubs. And there was like ang ano niya is yes, we know that there are clubs but it wasn't even considered muna a professional or semi-professional. Everyone's like wala nga tinitingnan tungkol sa AFC Champions League kasi kailan lang ba siya lumabas? Last year? 2 years ago? Diba? But everyone was like, naintindihan mo na, nagkaroon na nga tayo ng conversation about what if this one goes pro, 'di ba? Going kasi
Yeah.
parang nakita mo na okay na yung league eh. What if this goes pro paano na yung mga UAAP teams? Hindi na sila pwede
Yeah.
maglaro. So, will we consider playing just for club teams? At least it's gonna be pro. Or kailangan pa rin ba na? Nandun na tayo sa part na yun eh. So,
Yeah.
sa akin, nandun ako sa nandun ako sa part na I was expecting more. Nandun ako sa part na yun. Kasi ang conversations natin, nandun na eh. If it was asked by the new team, maybe, 'di ba? Pero yun lang yung sa akin na ano. But besides that, like what I told, I think on our last yeah, in terms of media, there's branding, everything. Yeah. But there are things still I know, I think may pegs nakita ko naman basing sa ano, but there's still certain things na ang daming dapat. Well, change. Actually, napansin ko na. Yeah, that's one thing. Change na.
They
My first
change.
comment, there's changes na. My first comment was why our first 11's postings are like during half times already, warm up photos. Yes, that was my first comments as a media. Pero ngayon nag-change na siya. Nakikita ko na siya na there's improvement on that one na it's happening. Kasi ang reason ko behind it is that yes, there's no like fixed rule about posting it. Walang ano kumbaga, in media practice, walang nakasulat, walang ganon. But as a casual fan, pag tinignan mo, or even as a football fan, when you don't watch the games live or even in YouTube, but you just go to the social media page of that team, pag nandun na yung warm-up picture,
Yeah.
first 11, halftime score, nasusundan mo siya eh. At alam mo na by this time, dapat tapos na siya kasi alam mo yung kunyari, alam mo yung start time. Add ka 2 hours, 2.5, dapat tapos siya. So dapat expectation mo, titingin ka lang sa Instagram page, uy, tapos na yung game. Nandun na dapat yung full-time score. So that's why I was like, yun yung comments ko nung start. But I think now, yeah, I think the last game day, napansin ko medyo malapit na yung timings doon sa ano. Cause both yun eh. It's both for football fans who sanay na and doon sa casual fans na gusto mong matuto naman. Because all leagues are doing that. So, kumbaga, unless ma-justify ano yung reason behind it, why they're doing it, I mean, I'm willing to listen and everything. But, yun nga. So, that's my ano. So, doon lang ako, ano, I get yung point talaga ni Tash, but yun nga, nandun ako sa, I don't compare it with the cup. Even if it's the recent one. I'm comparing it to the leagues. Kasi, ang name pa rin ng tournament is PFF.
Siguro ano, Pam,
At least,
I, I'm not speaking for the league or for the media of the league, but so we see in all the pub mats, it's Grid Athletic and NCRFA handling it. So on the media side, um, you know, I've worked with Bea in some of the match days, and she's been very open naman to feedback, and ikaw, and you've seen it. It's improving over time,
Yeah.
no? So she's been very open, and a lot of what they do, they try to make it look, alam mo yun? Parang for me lang, parang yun yung focus. Like it's to make it look good. Parang they're at this point that they're creating a product, if you will. So it can be sellable. Parang ang dating sa akin ganun yung ginagawa ni Bea. I think our concern, I don't know, Pam's concern also would be like the operational like side of things. I'm not super familiar with with how it works and everything, but of course being a part of the league for many years, parang there are certain things na you don't see in this in this current season. For instance, I'm just talking about my own observations. I haven't seen, well, finally last 2 weeks ago may nakita ako medics, but I'm super sanay na laging well, considering the location, syempre walang ambulance. Pero, alam mo yung kumpleto, katulad ng when we watched the last PFL match, yung Cebu versus Digger, Pam.
Dalawa lagi.
May talagang may stretcher, like, alam mo yun, yung usual medic setup.
Don't compare it na lang to PFL. UAAP.
Okay, UAAP. So, may ganon. So when I saw that, parang, okay, so, kung nadala yan ng PFL dito sa MOA Sky Pitch, bakit yung sa Women's League, wala? Kasi ako, ang sa akin, ang concern ko, kasi
Safety.
I've seen it, yes, I've seen it many times. I'm just after the safety. Even yung last PFL match that we watched na nadulas yung isang player ng Digger sa harapan natin. Well, kasi walang harang eh. Sa Women's
Walang
League
harang.
naman may
May harang.
harang.
But the
So,
harang is
the
also
harang naman is
a
also
question.
steal.
It's a question din yung harang na ginagamit.
So, yun. So that's just one thing, So I don't know how that's set up. Although the last time I was there, nakita ko may medics, yung may isang player ng UP na who needed a stitch. But I don't know if they're like a professional kasi diba usually may name yan kung anong provider ng ambulance or whatever medical or medical services agency. Usually nakikita mo yun, very present sila. But yun, hindi kayo nakikita. And then when the league started, isa lang yung bola. Ngayon, dalawa na. I don't know kung last, kung tatlo na ba or what. But, ayun. So, when I talked to Bea about some of our concerns initially, she mentioned na ayun nga, kasi nga there's NCRFA and then yung sa Grid Athletic. So the reason why they couldn't post the starting lineups and all these information in a timely manner in the socials kasi they can't get it on time. So we may get too technical in terms of how the league is being operated, and I'm not an expert and I don't know the rules, so I can't really like talk about it. Pero yun, so yun kasi yung wala sa previous seasons. Na ang another concern is, we may be building this brand new, shiny, beautiful thing. And I would hate for it to be wasted in the long run, simply because there are certain things that, we didn't meet.
Yung basics yung parang in-expect mo, yun yung nawala.
Yun lang naman yun sa akin. But
Yun lang.
yeah, but syempre parang, again, if you're like a casual observer or just a regular football fan, like, oh, this is great, this is nice, and then you're playing it at the MOA pitch na, to be fair, no, ang daming tao lagi,
Yeah.
ang daming nanonood. So yeah, it's a good thing. So maybe because we're such football fans na masyado tayong, alam mo yun, masyado natin tinitingnan yung mga bagay na yung mga common tao hindi naman nila napapansin yan. But yeah, yun lang yung for me.
I think that it's okay naman to nitpick. We're fans of the game. You're fans. You're also you also contribute to the women's game as well. So it's okay to nitpick. And I think that as long as that we're giving them, which is I think exactly
Yeah.
what we're doing, is that you're giving them advice, you're giving them, that help that they need to be able to figure it out. Because they're also, that's what I said nga, for me, the most important thing is that, yeah, may mga madaming pagkukulang. That's 100% sure. But they're willing to change or to figure it out along the way.
Yeah.
So that one also, I don't mind.
Right.
So parang, yun nga, it's also like, if you compare it nga, I can't compare it to, like, let's say the last seasons because I wasn't here. I didn't experience it. I only watched it. But the old seasons also, I'd say that the camera angle now, I'd say the cup and now, we're also much better than, let's say, 4, 3, 4, or like I'd say kasi the last time I played was a long time ago. I mean, like in 2019, let's say 2019 was the last time I was in the, and it's like just one camera from the stand.
Which club to? Ano ba to? Sikat?
Stallion,
Ano ba?
Hiraya.
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 So, yun nga, parang for my point of like from what I've been a part of in 2019 to the cup in 2024 and
Yeah.
then now in 2025, the jump of improvements are there. But there's still so much more to go. So as with anything, na parang it's open-ended. It's not like just because even with anything national team, just because you reached a certain height, okay na yon, diba? You always want to
Yes.
go
Yeah.
further. So same with this. So parang with the league, I think na kaya naman yeah, we're not there yet, but kaya. I feel like, well, hopefully, because maybe I'm more on the positive side, but I think na parang I think that the women's game is more marketable than the men's.
Oo naman.
Oo naman. Can I
Oo
just say
naman.
that I got so kilig when I opened the Filipinas Live App and I saw the Women's League poster.
Oo.
Like, finally!
Oo naman. Agree naman ako dun sa
And also for
marketable.
anyone who's watching, so remember the games are live. You can watch it
Alright.
for free on Facebook, right? So
Yes.
sometimes the internet, diba? Yan naman natin, diba? It's a bit spotty. So that's why if you pretend you missed the game and you want to watch the recording, or I mean, you want to go back to the game, go to the Filipinas Live app.
Yes.
It's
Thought that
smooth. So in the app, it's smooth. If you rewatch the games on Facebook, it can hang once in a while.
Yes. Oh,
So
it's smoother nga in the Filipinas Live App. Because I watched yung
and
last week's.
they send the recording eh. So diretso yung feed sa kanila.
Amazing. Yon. You have additional thoughts, Pam?
Talk about the players. Sabi ko, excited ako sa players.
Oh, players. So, before we answer this, FAQ. Oh, ikaw, kasi, Tasha, you've been calling the game, so you're probably more familiar than the two of us. For your, players to watch, kumbaga, in this women's league.
Okay. For me, the players to watch, for Kaya, let's start with Kaya because they have the biggest goal.
Per team talaga. Sige, let's do it.
No, like I think that for Kaya, I'd say that the Haley Long. Because not just defensively, she's the captain, center back, but the threat that she gives on the attacking end also. So the returns that the team gets from her, not only defensively, but the attacking returns. I think that she has one of the highest attacking returns. So not just for Kaya, let's say, national team, but also now, parang she's in good form right now.
Yeah, forward na siya ngayon ever since Coach Yu is the head coach of Kaya. Iba yung galaw ni Haley.
Extra
Yeah.
aggressive. You could see it.
Yeah.
Like parang there's a bit more, I don't know how to explain it, but there's that extra fire in her, and like I love the momentum that she's on. Cisneros, of course, she scored like
Yes.
3 hat-tricks already. Like what?
Parang naglalaro lang.
Oh,
Oh, next, Stallion.
ay, bakit ako lang? Kayo wala ba kayo? May additional? Alam ba
Hindi ko pa nakukumpleto eh.
Siyempre for Kaya ako, I look forward to those Inday goals. And then parang nagiging signature na ng Kaya na like down the line in the last few minutes, Camille Rodriguez would score a goal. I think the last 2 or 3 games lagi siyang may like towards the end na goals. But ako, inaabangan ko lagi si Inday. For the vibes, actually. Not for anything.
Of all the teams, I'd say that Kaya has the deepest bench.
Yes.
That
Yes.
when they make the substitutes, no matter what substitute they make, the quality doesn't drop.
True.
So I think that this year with their new additions, parang even the ones like they lost players like sila Maya Alcantara, center back. But is it Fontamillas diba who's playing center back ba with her now? Or
Yeah, I
okay.
think for the minutes.
Yeah,
But
Pantamilyas.
she's also a good addition. Like she's already at
Yeah.
2 goals also, I think. So parang the FEU players that went to Kaya, parang really good addition to their team. It helped
Yeah.
the players that they already had. And what's her name? Si Humphreys.
Yeah, Freeze. It's so deep now na parang you don't even miss Bebe Lemoran, to be honest.
In the mid, yeah.
Oo, parang kasi before parang Bebe
Sa kanya.
Lemoran, parang siya yung parang playmaker before eh. But now parang okay lang. Parang parang hindi mo siya na-miss if you
Speaking of
know.
which, you don't miss her there, but
Oh
she's
yeah.
so
But
good for
she's,
Stallion naman.
yeah,
Yes. Oo,
yun.
correct.
Positive siya sa,
The key players naman for Stallion. So nawala na
yeah.
siya
Okay.
sa
Go
Kaya, but
Tash.
became a key player naman sa Stallion.
Hmm.
Of course, you have I'd say the McDaniels, as usual na, and I'm talking about all McDaniels on the team. So all the McDaniels on the team, because if you think about Chandler, her attacking threat on top, the number of goals that she scored as well, her physique, her just her capable, like the natural striker. So they have her, Bebe Lemoran in the midfield, the center back, si Kayla McDaniel, who is and again, she's not related to them, but her last name just so happens to be McDaniel.
McDaniel.
She's also like the center back with also good attacking returns. So defensively does her job, tall, leader in the back, but also with the attacking returns. And then of course Olivia. She hasn't had to do that much this season, but in terms of distribution, you'll always notice her distribution and how confident she is on her feet. So for me, for Stallion, it's more of their spine. So their key players are all the spine players.
I have a question for you, Tash, because Pam and I talked about this a few times. Like, Stallion seems to be struggling creating more chances and scoring more goals. For instance, yung game nila versus Makati FC and yung first game din nila. So, and Pam, and I think we talked about this also na parang if we're talking about the players during the cup, then no questions. I think Stallion will be doing a lot better. But with this current players that Stallion has, what do you think is missing? Bakit hindi sila ganun ka-threatening, if you will? Parang, like to me, parang nabawasan ng angas. Alam mo yun? Parang,
Yeah.
kasi nung cup talaga, parang pag nakita mo, Stallion yung next game, parang, let's
Nasa
go!
Brazilian
Oo! Parang,
Alquiros.
May mapapa-reflect na ako dyan ako.
diba? Parang,
Nasa Brazilian.
No, you know
Ngayon,
what? Like kidding aside, you know what I mean? Like kidding
yeah.
aside, you already know my joke to that. So, but kidding aside, I think that it's because like they're not carrying off continuing from last season. They lost so many players in so many key positions. So let's say unlike Kaya that had maintained majority of its core and then added new players. For Stallion, it's like they had to start all over again. If you remember Stallion also in the cup, we lost their first game. We lost to
Yes.
Bigger.
Digger.
Before we killed, before we like did really last one. But like you lost the first game, you were also figuring out the second and the third game. So I think that with Stallion, it's that it's like you have to start again, all over again. So instead of like the other team, the other club team that they're building on from last season or from the season before, like for Stallion, it's that they're trying to figure it out again. So it's like new players have to understand, like figure out how each other plays again before the flow happens. So let's see. So hopefully in the second leg that click siya.
Yeah.
Kasi last
True,
game
true.
naman nila, like let's say that first leg, diba, parang yung score nila against UP was 2-0. But
Yeah.
in their last game, they beat UP
6,
7?
7? Yeah.
7? 7-0? Something like that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you could see that they're attacking, they're slowly getting it. Because defensively, nobody has scored against Stallion yet. But yun nga, it's the attack that's having a hard time clicking.
Yes, yes, true. Thank you, Tash.
Oh, Capital One naman.
Capital One! Capital
Capital
One.
One. For me, like, hands down again, Eloria. Si Yasmin.
Ah,
And
yeah.
like, I think that
Humahang
she's
time yung bata eh.
Grabe.
na para she's like the top performing goalkeeper in terms of, because she's had much more to do than, let's
Yes.
say,
Yeah.
the usual, which is Olivia or Ina, who didn't have to do so much like. But for Eloria, parang she's been playing really well. And also si Sarah Jen, Tolabing.
Yeah. Sorry, Jess.
So for me,
So what do
like,
you let's see, let's check the rankings. So in the second leg, do you think syempre they will face Kaya and Stallion again no in the second leg?
they play pa nga. Stallion and Capital One haven't, joke lang, they played na pala.
They
Panalo
played
pala.
na.
1-0.
So they will probably meet again sa second. They will kasi they're supposed to like play
Pero wala pang
twice.
schedule eh. I think. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure.
So like what's your opinion? Do you think ano makakabawi ba si Capital One? Because I feel like in the first round, Capital One was syempre, you know, it's a new club.
Yeah.
Although
Literally, sobrang inug pa nila. As in, they
yes,
March, di ba? Feb/March lang sila
yeah.
nag-start. So I
So
think that we'll see more pa from Capital One. So
yun.
I think Sarah Jen, si Eloria, even Teves. Like, I think that si
yes.
Laika,
Mm.
oo, na parang, I think that she's doing really well under Coach Len.
Mm. So ito yung sinasabi mo pa Pam, na ano eh, yung Capital One is like a combination of the FEU LaSalle players who've been, you know, meeting in the UAAP finals for the last 2-3 seasons.
They just have to familiarize themselves. Actually,
Oh.
yung game na yun, Capital One
Yung huli mo
Stallion.
napanood? Capital One Stallion ba yun?
Capital One Stallion, yun nandun tayo. The, di ba, yung, I think last 10 minutes
Oo, yung bigla
or
sila
last 15
nabuhay.
minutes na hindi mo alam anong nangyari, nabuhay ng sobra yung Capital One na yeah, that was after the after ng Dubai camp.
Yeah.
Na last 15 minutes, I think si Del Moral was replaced. And then, hindi mo alam, it was, parang yun nga, FU LaSalle players sa lahat na nasa loob. And hindi mo alam, biglang bumilis yung game. Na sobrang bilis na, yun nga, after the match, talk to Olivia because I got a photo of her na parang, I think last minute. Kita talaga kasi.
Nag-last minute, yeah, yung nag-last
Yung
minute
last
save si
minute
Olivia.
save
Yeah.
niya na kita talaga kung naka-video ako, nakuha ko on video na nagpura siya. Pero, and I talked to her after the game na parang, she was so tired on that game. She said, I don't know what happened. They were like just attacking all of us all of a sudden, last 15 minutes. So, in that game, nakita mo na parang Capital One was like, okay, medyo after 2 games, I think that was their third game already. Parang, medyo may the artist there na. So, we'll see. I mean, exciting to see the second round. Kasi yun nga nakita mo na doon naging question natin, I think, then yung parang doon na natin na-compare yung Stallion lineup
yeah.
of this league.
So, wala kasing Jamaya Fields eh. Kaya...
Actually, yun isang comment namin na parang ako, okay, kahit siguro pagod tong mga to. Kasi I mean, walang Jamaya Fields. Gumano namin ni Ben eh. Kasi, diba? Alam mo yung dinala ni Jamaya Fields during the cup. So, parang, nung nakita namin to, parang, okay, so sino yung may advantage going to the second round if magje-gel pa lang or actually pareho sila like what you have said Tasha na nag-start ulit si Stallion, but syempre knowing na in terms of names and paper syempre mas pa rin si Stallion, so kaya mas nakaka-excite yung second round kung sino yung magte-take advantage doon.
That's true. I think na parang in terms of, let's say, with Kaya, diba? started off already. Boom. Guns
Mm.
blazing.
Wala
Can
na.
parang ngayon, it's like, can they keep their
No
momentum?
questions as yun eh.
Or will they dip, diba? And then you have the likes of Stallion na parang they haven't found their flow yet. Parang recently
Yeah.
pa lang. But that was also against um their last game was UP. So like you need to give a
Yeah.
big test to see talaga. So will they find it at the right time? Same with Capital One and with Stallion. It's like will they peak at the right time? And then for Kaya naman is can they maintain
Consistent. Yeah.
and they stay
Yes.
consistent? Kasi technically at the moment, Kaya is on top because they haven't dropped a single point.
True.
Like 4 games played, 4 wins.
Pero hindi pa naglalaro ang Kaya Stallion, right?
Oh, no, wala pa yung
Not
Kaya
yet.
and Stallion.
Hindi natin na-cancel.
Oh.
We were
But
supposed to
even
watch it.
Capital One, you know when they played against MFC, their last game, you saw it also na parang they're sharper now eh. Especially on the attack. Na parang you could see already their attacking threat, which is surprising against MFC naman na their first few games until the Stallion game, they were playing really well.
Defensive.
But even attacking, like their attacking returns was really good. Like the Oriska, Nori, even Alvarez, they were all playing so well. But parang in that game against Capital One, parang it just wasn't clicking for them, defensively or on the attack. Pero I need to add lang one thing about MFC. Si Alvarez. Because Alvarez plays for Ateneo.
Alvarez.
Yeah, so she plays for
Yes.
Ateneo. And I'm not gonna lie, I cover UAP also. And I never noticed her. But,
I was gonna say
no.
that. I was about to ask, saan nga ba naglalaro si Alvarez?
Huh?
Good thing you
I
said
never
Ateneo.
noticed her.
Yeah,
But now
that's
that she's
true,
playing
true.
with MFC, you can see what she's capable of doing.
Yeah.
So parang sometimes also it's like when a player is put in different
Different.
yes.
Yes.
In a different setting, in a different group of coach or different group of players, they can really shine also. Na parang
True.
just because like they came from a team that like let's say in UAP they were last, diba? So you don't notice it. You think the players aren't good enough. But when you put a player in a different scenario or with a different team, you can
Yeah.
see this player can actually shine. Lang, food for thought. Na it's nice to see. I noticed her. Like I see her capability, her contribution, and how she can be attacking as well.
Yeah, good point, Tosh. Oh. Yeah, hindi ko nga din siya napansin.
Di ba?
Ateneo nga pala yun. Kasi alam ko sa Shroff is also in the MFC lineup. I just saw her name. But I don't know if she has
Player
played.
from Ateneo and
Okay.
from Lasal. Lubiano's from Lasal.
Piano.
Oh, yeah.
Yung right back nila. Pero for Ateneo, I think it's only Alvarez who's played lang so far. I think.
Yeah. Oo, tama. I don't think Shroff has played. What about the two UAAP teams participating in this league? UP and the UST.
For me, this is literally just for experience.
Preseason,
100%,
yeah.
150% for UP and for UST that this will just build them. So like
Yes.
you'll see the fruits of this eventually when they play for UAP, but this is good exposure, experience, and the number of games that they're getting.
Yeah.
Because the more that you play, the sharper you get when it comes to everything, the sharper that you'll be when it comes to when it matters the most for
Yeah.
them. So this is good exposure for them, especially for players to be exposed to national team players.
True. Like for UP, I noticed like everyone in the team plays.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I think I forgot which game it was. Kasi hindi ako familiar. So, sino tong mga player na to? And then I talked to
Bago na.
Coach Joyce, mga ano namin yan. Mga up and coming.
Puro bago
Talaga,
na.
puro bago na. I was like, oh, okay. Kaya pala, hindi ko kailangan itong mga to.
Even
yeah.
nung UP UST yun eh. We were there also. Even sa UST, parang half of them, up and coming players na siya ng UST.
But the core kasi of UST, yung pinaka like sila Bianca C, talagang regularly plays. So alam mo parang like for UST parang sinistrengthen talaga nila yung
Yeah.
core players nila. Whereas UP, they're giving more exposure sa
They lost a lot of players in the
bago.
last 2 years, more than 10 to 12.
Yeah.
A lot. They lost a lot of players.
Ang dami. Oo.
Really rebuilding. Sila, nasa rebuilding stage sila.
Yeah. Kaya si Coach Anto, kasama ba kita nun, Pam? Not sure kung kasama kita nun. Na parang, I forgot sino kasama ko. Parang, andyan ba si Coach Anto? Bakit? Parang wala akong naririnig na sumisigaw.
Oy, sumisigaw siya. May kinover akong game. Sumisigaw pa rin siya.
Sumisigaw naman siya, pero like hindi siya
Wala
ganun ka
naman
parang,
24/7.
hindi
Oo.
siya ganun ka,
Well, yung ano rin, yeah, yung UP-UST and UST won that game, right? Parang, UST, di ba, nanalo nun?
Ata
Hindi
yun
siya,
Yeah.
I think
hindi siya super, yung full time nung lumipat ako sa kabilang side, di rin siya super sumisigaw, which is,
nanalo
yeah,
yung nanalo yung
nanalo ba UP?
Oo.
Naghabol lang yung UST and the dying seconds? I mean, kaya ano.
Nakagol lang sila.
nakagol. Oo. Pero yun nga, si Coach Anto, hindi siya ganun ka, chill lang siya. Sa chill Anto. Sumisigaw pa rin naman siya. It's just not, alam mo yan. And it's more, and then, it's nice to see, like, after the match, you see the likes of, sino nga ba yung player? Si Ube. Oh, si Ube. Si Ube. And si...
Coach, wait lang, pa-add lang coach ng UP pero nakascore siya against UP.
Sorry.
Maganda yung goal niya, in fairness. Maganda yung goal ni Ube against UP.
So you see the likes of Ube and Coach Joyce. Talagang, like, alam mo yun, coaching mode talaga sila after the match. So, yeah. So it's exciting to see how UP and UST will perform in the UAAP season. Shout out Lasal.
Shout out Ateneo FEU.
Shout out to the FAU.
FEU though, you have to say that kasi parang most of the FEU players are
Or
in
ano naman. Yes.
So they're taking a few, like, and there's, what's your name? The back line, it's sila De La Peña. These are from FEU that are up and coming. Or Soriano also. If I'm not mistaken, they're both. So Capital One has the FEU players.
Yes.
And then so there's UP and UST. So the teams that didn't join are Ateneo and LaSalle.
But LaSalle players are also scattered.
Oh, Mari is in Cap 1.
Mari is in Capital
Danny is
1.
in Kaya.
Danny and Megan is in
Danny and Megan, yeah.
Even Jeka.
Yeah.
Is in Kaya.
Jeka is in Kaya?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
Nasa Kaya. So, si Lubiano nasa
That's good to
MF.
know. Na parang for me,
So,
na these players, whether it's for their UAP team or for their club team, the most important thing is that all these players are getting that much exposure.
Yes.
Like, the more games you play, the better it will be for you.
True. When is the UAP season? September?
September, if I'm not mistaken.
September, yeah.
So, sakto lang.
Sakto lang, yes. Tamang pahinga. Okay, so let's talk about our non-participation in this year's U19 and U20 Youth Girls tournament. So just for context, saan na ba yun? Yan. So just for context, syempre pumutok yung, of course, our favorite, ASEAN Football, posted that we're not participating, and then it was quiet on the federation side until during the press con for the futsal team. The president, John Gutierrez, was interviewed, and he said the decision to not join was made by the Department of National Teams and Technical Department. The move is part of their preparations for a busy 2025 and the Futsal World Cup. He said, we don't want to join competitions just for the sake of participating. We want to compete to win. He also noted that he doesn't want they don't want to spread the country's talent pool too thin. And according to him, he spoke to Coach Mark, and Coach Mark Torcaso said that there will be standout players from the U17 and U19 squads that will be moved up to the senior team. So, yun. And he said that we shouldn't worry because the Philippines will continue to participate in the most important tournaments this year. Your thoughts, Miss Natasha Alquiros dito? Game.
Where I find some lines of that hilarious. So let's start first with we don't wanna the part about we don't wanna compete just for the sake of competing, right? We want to
Oh,
win.
yeah.
I think that nobody wins overnight. You have to build your team. You have to. How do you build the team if you're not competing anywhere? You're taking away an opportunity, most especially for some girls who this might be the
Yes.
last chance to play for the U19 or the U20. So you're taking away the opportunities of them to be able to show their trade at that level. And when you're joining youth competitions, is winning the most important thing? Food for thought. That is it. It's not always all about winning. But even so, how do you even get to the winning position if you're not participating in the tournaments? You're saying you're focused on the futsal or other things. It's not the same players.
Yeah.
Players that are going to be playing for your U19 or U20 are not the same players that are playing in the FIFA Women's Futsal Tournament. If you gave a different statement, I'd say na we lack in funds or lack in somewhere else. I'd rather you're just completely transparent than to add a line na you compete not to ano yun? Ano yung line tuloy? Compete, you want to compete to
To
win.
win.
Na parang, this reminds me of all the times before, back in 2012, 2013, in the Southeast Asian Games when PSC gets to decide, oh, we're not going to send the men's team because you're not so good.
Yeah.
Oh, we're not going to send the
Yes.
women because you're not getting us medals.
Yeah.
So it's
Yes.
not about the number of medals that you can get, but it's also about, especially the T23, ito, U19, U20, when it comes to
Yeah.
youth competitions, it's about giving the players exposure. And if not
Yes.
done, where do we expect them to play? It's not like we have an all year round youth league where the players can show their trade consistently. So players of that level, they look forward to these national team competitions, the U19s, the U20, especially that, no offense, that most of our national team players, when it comes to the women's, we mostly get players who are playing abroad to play for the national team. So for a lot of, most especially, this is more like it's a harder pill to swallow for the local girls than it is for the players playing abroad.
True. And I just want to add to that, Tash. So being that this is the youth players, I think that even if we send an all local team to this competition, I think we'll do well. You know, just after the last 2 years, I've been watching the Angliga
Yeah.
U17, the Angliga U19. You'd see the improvement of our local girls. So even if, kasi there's this argument na, bakit pa tayo sasali dyan?
Tama ba to?
Pinapadala niyo naman mga nasa US. Kasi I read that a lot. Na parang, okay lang yan. Kasi hindi naman yung local girls yung napapadala. But I would argue, even if we send an all local girls team, we would still do well.
Agree.
Kasi after the World Cup, ang Liga U17, ang Liga U19, so I'm
There's
not.
a lot of beats in the making, especially in the women's league right now. Whew.
They haven't even. I don't know if you've seen the Forza girls. Forza
Especially,
girls,
Beach Hut.
Forza,
Beach
Beach Hut,
Hut.
Eloria, MFC, all these players.
Yes.
Combine it all. The sum of them, di ba?
Yes.
If you check the UAAP players also, the ages, meron
Yes.
dun. Meron ka makikita.
Okay, sige. For the sake of argument, lumaban yan, 'di ba? They had a friendly, ang Liga U17 All-Stars versus the Filipinas U17. They had a friendly, no? And of course, nanalo yung Filipinas U17. Okay, fine. But again, you just pick the All-Stars.
It's not
And
like
and
a
that was 2
coaching
years
staff.
ago.
Yeah.
They've improved significantly from last year. Sorry, last year lang pala yung 2 years ago naman ako. Yun. So, yun. So, that's why to anyone who's, saying na, okay lang yan kasi mga taas abroad naman yung pinapadala nyo. Watch ang Liga girls. You'll see, ang dami. Every time I watch ang Liga girls, it gives me a lot of hope. And then you see even the beach hut girls. I think kaya pumupunta na yan sa sa Thailand kasi I don't know, hindi nila alam kung saan sila maglalaro.
Man, di bias. I'll give you 2 names. Who's playing with Kaya, but playing with for Lasal?
Sino to? Teka.
Danny and...
Oh, Danny, yes! Danny!
Danny and Megan!
How young
Man.
is Danny? She...
Wala pang 20. I'm sure of that. Wala pang
Yeah.
20. Danny and Megan, men! Kaya, ang believe ko sa kanila when they played for Lasal was hindi sila takot sa... Ito, one thing na napansin ko. Kasi Danny's also
fearless.
playing for Beach Hut, diba?
Yeah, Bichat.
Walang takot sa makipagbanggaan sa UAAP.
Hmm.
The first time I saw her play, walang takot. Kasi, ang na-realize ko doon is, because she was playing for Beach Hut and she was playing for Kaya, alam niyang mas physical doon. So, I mean, we can name definitely players who can.
Yeah.
Na local.
Kung ano lang natin kasi we're
Baka
just
may
talking
magalit.
about baka may magalit. We're only sinasagot lang natin yung argument na
Argument
dahil overseas base naman laging kinukuha for the youth. So, okay, magano tayo, homegrown, whatever. 'Di ba? Ano ba yung kanilang homegrown agenda? Kahit homegrown lahat 'yan. Tinataya ko ang
Yes, ako ito
13th month pay ko, tsaka.
Ako, I mean,
regardless of who you send. For me, it's even also
yes.
So besides that, regardless of who you send.
Meron You can. And it's a winning
away
team.
That opportunity from them, whether it's a winning team or not, minus regardless. You take away the team or not, it's just that you're taking away an opportunity for young players to be exposed to a higher level of football. You're taking away a chance from them that could build their football future. So, yun lang.
And then you're taking away the national team's future also. Because how will you identify that future that you want to continuously improve if these young girls can't not play on the highest level possible?
So I hope it's just a one time. Like I hope na
I really hope.
Like parang I think na okay, fine. Let's think about the fact that there's a lot. I'm gonna try to be a good cop. I'm really gonna try. Na parang the national or the PFF, the national team, they have a lot on their plate. That nobody told them to get that much stuff on one person's plate. But anyway, so you have the men's national team, you have the women's national team,
and the futsal.
Tournaments go hand in hand. There's so many things happening. We're hosting the Women's World Cup. So if you're saying that your hands are full, okay, fine. I can understand that part of your argument. No problem. I get it. Diba? So prioritization. What's the most important at this moment? You cannot not send your men's team and you cannot not send your women's team. So based on the argument of your priority at the moment, because you have to choose, then fine, I understand. Your hands are full. Plus you're hosting the Women's Futsal World Cup. But if you're gonna say we only send we want to send to win, then you're shooting yourself in the foot. You're like opening yourself up for people to interpret what you're saying.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing. That's why this is the only reason why we're bringing out these arguments.
Yes.
Just so that people understand why it's not that we just want to talk shit for the sake of talking shit. That's not the
Yeah.
point. Definitely not the point.
Communication is the key. And sometimes it's not bad to ask for help. I guess yun yung sa akin doon. It's really
Moving on.
not bad because there's a lot that's willing to help. You just ask. Si Tasha, tutulong yan. Nandito nga siya ng buong taon eh. Diba sabi mo?
Oh, so we're incapable of, we all help in our small ways.
Yeah.
It's literally why we have, like, why you guys actually, we, ako ba kasal? That's why you guys have, that's why you guys have this podcast. That's why you have Futbol Brew. That's why you have Laban Filipinas. It's like you're helping in your own way possible of how you can help improve the game in any aspect possible. And for us, like even just the fact that we're talking about both the pros and the negative of everything about it.
Because we care.
At least na pinag-usapan kayo eh, di ba?
Because we care.
That's important. That's actually important.
Because we
Only
care.
people who love you care. Just so you, like, that will talk stuff. Like, the bad and the
Because we
good. Only
care.
people who love you that say that. That truly love you.
Ano yan, Ben, ang ano natin quote?
Ano quote? Ang dami nating quotable quotes, manager.
Wala parang, ano to? Binibigay mo naman lahat, pero parang wala namang balik. Because we only care. Yun lang. That's it.
The national team. So the next FIFA window is on May 26 to June 3. And again, we were told that there will be a friendly at home against Chinese Taipei. So that's in a couple of weeks, and we haven't heard
Anything.
from the management yet or the PFF. Well, the men's game is still far along, but they're already talking about buses going to NCC, etc. And I shared the article. Yung sinabi ko sa kanina, Natasha, I shared the news on my X account that the New Zealand WNT canceled their friendly against Chinese Taipei due to pitch conditions. And because of that, their funding was pulled out. So I don't know how their friendly against us will be affected. And then the Asian Cup qualifiers is a month after. So we need this window to like train together in
Be competitive.
yes, build the chemistry, especially, if they're injecting new players. So your thoughts on this, Tash? Being a former national team player and you have the Asian Cup qualifiers and the AFF soon. Siyempre, you have a very
well-
unique perspective, being a former national team player.
Okay, if we're gonna, again, I'll do good cop, like good stuff then bad stuff. So good stuff.
Yes.
We're gonna compare this to the time that I was playing, long I won't but if you're comparing it to that, then we're already in a much better place.
Yes.
But if you're comparing it to Jeff Cheng era, wherein we took advantage of every window, every break to have local camp or scouting camps or like an ID camps in the States or here, or playing against high level teams. And you kind of knew they're always doing something.
Yeah.
So I think I even went down a rabbit hole of like in 2023. Let's say even after the World Cup, because we know that there's so many things. But after the World Cup was July, September, my Asian Games, October, Olympic quali, second round. Tapos Feb, there was Pinatar Cup of the next season. And then April, they had friendlies against South Korea. And then you compare it to, let's say, in 2024, with the change of management, that in June, there was a local ID camp. None of these players from that local ID camp were called up anyways for was it the Pink Cup or something like Pink Ladies Cup? Sorry, you can correct me. But that was October. So after June, like first June and then October and then nothing. That was it. We only did two things in 2024. Correct me if I'm wrong, please. But we only did two things.
Yeah, the U2 local camps, yes.
Yep.
Kasi
And then,
2024 was
felt
a year
very
to forget. Sorry, you're to forget talaga. Yeah, yeah.
Felt really inactive kasi 2024 there was also no women's league, so it's like we were just off the radar for women's football.
Yes.
We went into hiding or something. Like
Mhm.
we were super low key. Women's football was super low key in 2024, and then in 2025, of course, like they did another ID camp, like parang they did an ID camp in what was that, February, March. And then,
Mhm.
of course, like parang we're still getting over the fact that in April we were supposed to play against Thailand and China, and then we ended up playing against UAE with the two friendly. So parang like I'm still processing like how that happened. I know you guys already did a podcast on this, so I'm not gonna go further into it. But yeah, so it's more of like, so this window again, it just gives you that feel moving forward that you'll never really know what you're gonna get. So
Yes.
I'm saying that that's how it feels like, because parang there's plans get canceled, plans change, or you don't know if there's a camp, an ID camp, is it a whatever, like there's no, like we're not pushing forward as much as we did in 2023, regardless of the
Yes.
World Cup. Even after that, they were still pushing. So parang I feel that, I don't know, we're like slowing it down in terms of support for the women's national team, or they're just not as aggressive. That's pretty much, I don't know, I can't explain too much on where the support comes from, but we're just not as aggressive as we were.
Yeah.
So it just sucks as a point of view of like someone that, like, honestly, you could see that um in when the World Cup happened, on our last game, I remember being in the stadium in New Zealand and really thinking, like crying, because I was hoping that, I hope this isn't just it. I hope that this is just the beginning. So, and that, that we continue to build on this. Like, this isn't, wow, our shining moment. Like, I want it to be, like the catapult, or the thing that makes us want to continue to be hungry. So, yun lang. It's just that medyo parang nakita natin recently that we haven't been as hungry for the, to achieve higher for women's football at the moment. But, I hope, I always hope to be proven wrong. I want to be proven wrong. And I hope that the new administration have settled in, and that they figure out that women's football again is very important. Not an afterthought, but it's very important. Yun lang. So sana may something. But if wala, I'm not, yun nga, that's a thing. So like going back to that question, like if there's nothing, I won't be surprised, because it feels like that's been
Yeah.
the recent chain of events na oo, hindi, oo, hindi. Anything to add? Kung
So,
ako, never mag-call ng kahit anong game, ha? Sorry na lang.
okay na, maganda yung sinabi mo, Tosh. I think ang masasabi ko na lang is the Filipinas deserve better. They've already proven they can win. But if we don't invest in, consistent preparation through friendlies, camps, quality competition, how can we expect them to stay on top? And we need them to stay
Quality.
on top.
Babalik ako sa communication. Iba-iba kasi iba-iba yung nakukuha rin natin. So
Oo.
that's one thing. That's why we're expecting, hindi ko naman masabi na we're expecting too much. Sabi ko nga nung last pod, ayoko na siyang i-compare before. 'Di ba? I mean, I think I mentioned na parang ang hirap na hindi i-compare. Pero
Yeah.
sige, like what you've mentioned, there's always a chance. We always give chance. It's just that yung communication sa akin is like important sa akin kasi iba-iba yung naririnig ko. Iba-iba yung statement na
Sino ba yung
nababasa ko.
kinakausap mo? Kasi may iba naririnig mo.
Kaya ngayon, well, kung ano, like
Joke
kanina,
lang,
yung
joke
topic
lang.
natin na we compete to win. So, eto ba is an effect also to the seniors team?
No. Okay, good point.
Yun yung parang sa akin, saan may nagkakaroon ako ng question in my mind na saan ba lulugar din 'Di ba?
Yes.
Kaya ka nagkakaroon ng expectation kasi yun nga, may yung contradicting lang siya. So yun nga, nandun ka na lang din sa you're just hoping, lesser expectation, but of course you're gonna support no matter what, 'di ba? Hopefully things will change. And yun nga kasi okay, we have the I don't know what will happen this end of May sa window. If there's none, I just hope we get the core that we will use to play for the Cambodia nation qualifiers in Cambodia. We have to do that. We have to win it. No questions asked with the groupings that we have. Okay? Sa mga ate, sorry. As in, kailangan nyo manalo. Why? Babalik ako dun sa communication ulit na kapag hindi kayo nanalo, baka may epekto na hindi na maglaro talaga forever yung mga youth.
Actually,
Diba?
yes.
Pwedeng ganon mo siya tingnan kasi it's gonna be an it's just gonna be an ecosystem yun. Ganon lang din siya, diba? So, it's not that I'm putting pressure, but if ganito talaga na the seniors team needs to win first before the others can play, so there's gonna be an effect. Because that's the way the wordings are being said. Kumbaga yun yung understanding ko sa kanya ngayon. Sila yung may competition. You have the qualifiers and you have the AFF plus SEA Games pala. You still have SEA Games. So, that's the three major tournaments that we will compete because we're gonna win. Simple as that. Para next year, next 2 years, 3 years, babalik ulit tayo sa youth. Diba?
So, the answer to your question, Pam, is by dalawa lang yan. Either may Manila camp tayo or camp sa week.
Grabe naman sa camps.
Baka sana naman ako na Venice for you making a mockery of the camp. So, banned na naman ako.
But I was just gonna say that, so with the national team, I think the other thing is also that I have no idea at this moment who is playing on the national team. Like
Yes.
before, like
Yeah.
who your front, who your backline is, exactly who, like who the first 11 is. Maybe 1 to 2 tweaks here and there.
Yes.
The last time that I saw our girls play was the Pink Ladies. Is it Pink Ladies Cup?
Yeah.
What's it called? Sa
Yeah,
whatever.
Pink Ladies Cup.
Yeah, the one you
So
called with Mariel.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
called that game with
Yeah,
Yeli.
so the last time that I've covered this game, but more of like that was also the last time that there was coverage on the team was October 2024. It's already May. Because of the
Yeah.
because of the two friendlies were closed. So
Yep.
who's on the team? Like we know nothing. Like we're all like in the dark. So as a fan, or let's say as a commentator of women's football, na parang how do I study the players or the team? But even just as a fan, na parang usually it, diba? Oy, first 11, you're so
Yeah.
excited because you know these players. Magaling to, magaling yan. Like she's been playing really good. But because in 2024, all we had was a camp and then a and two closed friendlies. We have no idea what's going on in the women's team. Like who is playing, who's there,
Exactly.
who's the preferred player. So yun lang. That's kind of just something na it's going to be shock. Parang I feel like
Surprise!
that part is what that used to happen during my time. Na parang every tournament 2008,
Iba-iba.
2009, 2010. It's like, surprise, new team, surprise. Always a surprise because we only have one tournament a year and all that stuff back then. So parang, yun nga, in 2023 and 2023 especially, you're used to, first 11 plus the recruits here and there, the
Yeah.
tweaks here and there. But now parang, I have no idea like who the players
Yeah.
are, how they play.
That's why when I saw yung latest post ng FIFA, like Filipinas Passion and like photos from the World Cup, like I miss this fucking team. Cause yeah, you're right, Tash. I don't know who's in the team now. Like parang if you ask anyone, parang I don't think they can answer that question. Oh well.